everybody. This is Bryan Hogue. Welcome to another episode of Chiller Chat. This is Tuesday, February 2nd, 2021. Yes, we made it through 2020, and well, we're just creeping into 2021, and we'll see how this one goes. But Carrie says, still didn't get my COVID-19 shot. Oh, okay. Well, I don't think, I don't know. Is there a rush to get these? I don't know. I think you got plenty of time. I think you'll be fine. But, well, I got my flu shot, and that's all I'm planning on getting, to be quite honest with you. But anyways, all right, so here we are, another Chiller Chat episode. Now, I wanted to mention this because I saw this as I was scrolling through Facebook earlier today, and I figured we were supposed to have Dale Baltzer on tonight, and once again, he ended up, he wasn't able to make it, so you always got to have a plan B. So what I figured as I was scrolling through Facebook, I saw where this is apparently Dracula Month. And the reason being is on February 14th, 1931, the king of all vampires, Dracula, Universal's Dracula, starring Bela Lugosi, was released. So, pretty cool, pretty cool. So, I'd say that qualifies. Raymond says, how far are you from the groundhog extravaganza? I am not close to that carrying on. I don't think I want to be anywhere near that groundhog right now. I don't think he saw what is we're supposed to get 6 more weeks of winter, right? I oughta. Paul says, I missed your family. Okay, now feel down, hospitalized 10 days, but I'm back. I know. I'm glad to know that you're doing okay. I appreciate you getting back to me, and I'm sorry you took that fall, but I'm glad to know that you're doing well. Very glad to know that, and yeah, we've all a lot of us have had some slings and arrows of outrageous fortune lately, haven't we? So, but we are back and ready to go. So, as I was saying, this is Dracula Month. Universal's Dracula, released on February 14th, Valentine's Day in 1931, was when the world first saw Bela Lugosi in Dracula. Remember these? I used to read these when I was a kid. These old, and then I had to get one for I think it was my 50th birthday. It's just as a nostalgic thing from Crestwood House. But there you have it, Dracula. But anyways, there were other Draculas, of course. Who is your favorite? Do you have a favorite Dracula? I figured I would show that, of course, is the king of all Draculas right there, folks, Bela Lugosi. Other notable mentions, well, more than just notable mentions, I'll tell you. We got the one and only Christopher Lee, who, of course, was in the Hammer horror movies as Count Dracula. We have the Gary Oldman's version of Dracula from 1992. Frank Langella from, I believe it was 1978 or 79. And I believe Universal did that movie. I believe it did. It wasn't a bad movie. Entertaining. And of course, the very first that I'm aware of, if there's some obscure silent film out there, maybe it's only 5 minutes long, but somebody let me know if they know of it. But there, of course, is Max Schreck as Count Orlok, Nosferatu. Remember that? We did our very first live Chiller Night Theater, and Jack Shadow hosted Nosferatu. So, Very, very cool. Paul says, likewise. Uncle Jack, I'm happy you're doing well today. Yes, Jack Shadow. Oh, hey, we threw up all the vampires. Let's put up the king of the dark domain himself. There he is. Jack Shadow, host of Chiller Night Theater. Paul says Christopher Lee. That's your favorite? Good choice. Raymond says Lugosi. Clayton says the annotated Dracula. That the annotated Dracula? I don't know. It's Dracula. Paul says Jack Palance. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, they had the movie with Jack Palance in it. Very good. Jason says Christopher Lee was an awesome Dracula in the Hammer films. You can't forget Blackula. Right, right. A good campy film. Yeah, yeah. Kevin says hi Brian. My favorite Draculas are Jack Palance and Christopher Lee. Oh, that's cool. You know, I was kind of in a rush to get some of these pictures up, and kind of running around today, and I was going to put just as I guess an honorable mention was the vampire from The Night Stalker, because I remember as a kid watching that episode, and it was very frightening to me. A lot of tension, you know, to however old I was, 6 years old or whatever when that came out. But Paul Lynch, Dracula versus Frankenstein. Yeah. You know, here's one too. You know, John Carradine, of course, played Dracula in a couple of the Universal films with House of Dracula, House of Frankenstein, Dracula's Daughter. It was an interesting movie. That was, you know, really the first sequel to the Universal Dracula movies. And then we have Nosferatu. Get up here. We'll just do it this way. Nosferatu. These are my old VHSs. Of course, Dracula with Bela. And I gotta do it. Lon Chaney Jr. as Count Alucard, which is Dracula spelled backwards in Son of Dracula. So, here's a bunch of the old VHSs. So I figured I'd show some of these today. I love these things. But I got some more movies. Just again, you know, Dracula is such a huge part of our culture. Of course, you know, tons of these famous monster magazines, and any type of monster magazine was on. It was even in. There was even remember these old Choose Your Own Adventure books from the 80s. The Cup of the Vampire is an Indiana Jones Choose Your Own Adventure book. And yeah, he goes on a little journey up to Dracula's castle, gets in some adventurous mischief, and let's see. We have some of the Christopher Lee ones here. The Horror of Dracula, which is the first in the Hammer horror series of the Dracula movie, and Dracula, Prince of Darkness, both, of course, with Christopher Lee. Bela Lugosi is probably the most famous image of Dracula, but I'd have to say the very next one after that would be the most recognizable would be Christopher Lee. And there's some other vampire movies, but let's get caught up on some of these comments here. Let's see. Jason says, "Love at first bite, George Hamilton." Right? Yeah. Paul says, "Do you have any on video disc?" Well, just the ones that I showed there, and then I got some other, not Dracula, but vampire movies like Salem's Lot and Fright Night, and I got it. Michael Smith's House of the Vampire. We just had him on the show a couple weeks ago talking about his movie House of the Vampire. So if you get a chance to check that out, do so. All right, so all right. Any you guys think about any other? What was some of the? What was one frightening vampire movie that you watched, whether it was Dracula or another vampire, that you remember? I'll tell you one of the first for me was I mentioned the Night Stalker, but another one was Salem's Lot. You know, I remember watching that as a kid. The scene where the kid floating outside the window, scratching on it. You know, um, trying to get the other one, the other brother to let him in. Of course, they have to be invited. And Kevin says, episode of the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew mysteries. The Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew meet Dracula. Remember that episode? I don't. That's I don't remember that. Was that the one that they had back in like I think it was the 70s? Um, if so, I'd be curious to know that. Uh, Dan says Frank Langella. Yeah, I had him up here a little bit ago. Like I said, that was an entertaining movie. And then Jason says the floating kid outside the window in Salem's Lot, very scary. Oh, I know it was very scary. Another scene in that movie was when the guy is being buried, and I don't know. There was a scene where the casket opens up and the eyes open, something like that. I'm trying to remember that scene, but I remember that being kind of impactful, as a kid, like very unnerving. Um, Paul says the first DVD player in the '80s made by Zenith. Is that right? Oh, I remember the big laser discs. Is that what you're talking about? I do remember those. Um, Jason says, how about CBS's Cliffhanger series? One of the three storylines dealt with Dracula. Oh, really? No, I can't. I can't think of that. I can't think of that one. Can't remember that. Paul says, The Lost Boys. Excellent movie from the '80s, of course, starring Kiefer Sutherland. These are good ones, yeah. What is it about vampires, though? What is it? What do you suppose? Um, they can look like us, you know, but they are, you know. I guess if you wanna look at I always go to Twilight, the Twilight, very drama, um, driven show there with Twilight. I've never seen an episode in my life, so maybe maybe I'm criticizing unfairly there. It's not a um, probably maybe it's not a very good thing to do, but I I look at a vampire as a very savage beast like monster. There's no reasoning with them. The only sense of nobility or courtesy or the smooth talking is only to lure you in. That's it. That is it. There's no emotion. There's no they don't care about you. You are food. They are the spider. You are the fly, and that's it. That's it. That's as as simple as I can make it. Um, let's see. Kevin said Salem's Lot scared me when I first seen it back in '85. I was 9 years old. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, that was a very unnerving movie to me. Like I was probably about the same age, and if that's when that came out, is that when that came out? I thought it was before then, or maybe you saw it in 1985. But I think it was 1979. Okay, 1979. But yeah, because I was thinking I was too old at 80 in '85 to really be too unnerved about it. But yeah, in 1979, that did really. Um, Give me those nice little chills up my back. Does it hold up well enough today? Probably not. Well, last time I watched it, I'd say no, not really. However, there are some scenes that do stand out very well. There's a scene where David Soul and the other character, the boy, they're in the basement, and you can see the vampire is starting to rise up in the room behind them. Where and they're starting to come close to the doorway behind them, and they can't. They're not looking behind them to see that, but you as a viewer are seeing this. I thought it was very well done, a very well done movie. Um, Paul says security. Security. I'm not sure that I know about that one. I don't think I've seen that one, Paul. Dan says Blackula. Yeah, that was mentioned too. Yeah, definitely. Paul says I meant send with the woman. Grave of the Vampire, 1972 with William Smith. Oh yeah, yeah. We've played that on Chiller Night Theater. Yeah, that was a good one. Had its moments, I think. Dan says Count Yorga. Paul says, I mean sexy with the women. Security, I mean sexy with... Oh, the vampire, yes, luring them in and all that, kind of setting that tempting trap, and they got the hypnotic, gaze, so they have a lot of advantages for a monster predator, I'll tell you. Okay, Jason says CBS Cliffhangers was in 1979. Okay, they had 3 stories, one about Dracula with Michael Nouri playing the vamp. I didn't know that. Okay, I'm not aware of that. That's interesting. Kevin says, remember Count Yorga the vampire. I'm aware of that vampire, but I can't think of whether I recall the movie right now off the top of my head. But there's Dark Shadows. There's I know that a lot of you love Dark Shadows, so that was of course, a vampire themed. Well, there were other things in there, but mostly vampires, I believe. Brian says Jonathan Fridd is Barnabas Collins. There we go. All right. Paul says I can't spell drinking. All right, you're doing fine. You're doing fine. Raymond says James Mason. Paul says don't have to worry about HIV. The vampires, yeah, I would imagine that they don't have any danger of anything like that, like the sicknesses that a human might be prone to. Well, COVID would be a good, good example of that. I'm sure they don't have to worry about anything. They're immortal. How do you kill a vampire? You stake them through the heart. Or on these satanic rites of Dracula, they well, I'm not going to mention that because that's an upcoming Chiller Night Theater movie that we're going to be doing. So I won't give it away if you haven't seen it. That one came out quite a while ago, so I don't really know if I got to worry about spoilers. But in that movie, okay, there's the basement full of female vampires, and they turn the sprinkler system on, and that incapacitates the vampires, destroys them. Sprinklers, because I think what they were doing is they were doing the old thing about a ghost cannot pass over running water. Other than that, I don't know where they get that idea. The running water. Okay, like they're referring to rivers, creeks, streams, but maybe those guys had a few drinks when they were writing that movie. Let's see. Dan says Countess Dracula with the naughty bits. Now what this one here, Dracula's daughter, or or is this something on gosh, what's it called? Dark Shadows. My mind went blank right now. Craig says hi. Hey Craig, thanks for joining us. Paul says the first vampire was Lilith. Lilith. That's right. There was a I guess depending on which books were considered canon in the Bible. There are some that are non-canon that had talked about Lilith, who was Adam's first wife before Eve, and well, things didn't go right. Things didn't go right. So she went off and became very dark and evil, and there was a legend that she had become basically a vampire. And some movies have actually kind of capitalized on that story, that legend, and went off and what was it? The one Tales from the Crypt, Bordello of Blood, that talks about Lilith being the vampire. And Jason says some excellent vampire books: Necroscope, Midnight Mass, The Passage, The Historian. Interesting. Brian Everett says holy water. Yeah, that's very effective against vampires. Imagine if they had the sprinkler system with holy water in it. That would be like us getting pelted with 50 caliber bullets. Kevin said vampires don't like holy water. Right. Yep. Holy water, garlic, steaks. Another one, it was at the end of the Satanic Rites of Dracula. He had thorns wrapped around, his head at the end because he was trying to get through the thorn bush and the thorns, and so that was, it was kind of the opposite of the holy symbol of the crucifixion, and so that was one of the things that destroyed that vampire. So. Again, I've never heard of that before, but one of the writers took the liberties to get pretty creative, I suppose. Interesting. Dan says, I remember Woody Allen wrote a short story where Dracula wakes up during an eclipse. Oh, really? That just reminded me, Dan, of there was another vampire. I thought I loaded that picture up, and I guess I didn't. But and now I don't recall the guy's name, the actor's name. But he was Netflix. I mentioned this Saturday night on the Chiller Night Live pre-show. But Netflix did here's what it was. It was a Dracula series. And I couldn't remember because I didn't think it was 3 seasons. And it wasn't. Here's what it was. This is kind of neat. I didn't mind this at all. Each episode, there were 3 episodes. That was what was throwing me off Saturday night. I was trying to remember this. There was 3 episodes. However, each episode was like the length of a movie. It was an hour and a half. I really enjoyed the first 2. Third one, not so much. Not saying it wasn't it wasn't bad. Just wasn't where I would have preferred to see the storyline go, but still entertaining to some degree. Let's see. Raymond says Lilith liked to be on top. Adam didn't like it. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Because she didn't want any man to be over her, and so she wasn't a submissive wife, which was I guess expected while they were writing the book. So, oh well. Paul says Sam and Dean Winchester fought her in Supernatural. Oh, is that right? I've never seen Supernatural. Brian says Blade. There you go. Marvel Comics character Blade. Interesting. I heard they're gonna perhaps do a remake of Blade. Would be pretty neat. Jason says In Search of had a great episode on Vlad the Impaler. I know, I know. I remember watching that, and I remember having reading about that stuff when I was a kid. I was so enticed by that, you know. But I really enjoyed that stuff, like In Search of, when I was a kid. John says, of course, getting a stake driven in your heart would kill you. It would kill just about anyone. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if that was, but you know, they could get shot with a regular bullet and it wouldn't kill them. Where with us, you know, we'd be having a pretty bad day. Uh, so, but that seemed to be the one thing that could always get them is that that old stake in the heart. Unless you're John Carradine's Dracula, all you got to do is remove the stake. There they expanded on the legend. Removing the stake could revive or could regenerate the vampire in its full form, and it would go out once again as an unholy monster to seek its victims. Let's see. Kevin says, I should have mentioned Dark Shadows being I am crazy fan of the horror, so LOL. Yeah. I figured you would be mentioning that of all our viewers. Of course, Dan says, John Carradine and Billy the Kid versus Dracula. Oh my gosh. You know, I've seen that movie as I've been scrolling through different movies to select. I've actually seen that, but I don't recall watching it, or if I did watch it, it was probably a long time ago, like on Chiller Theater, you know, like back in Chilly Billy's day. But that's funny. I didn't know that John Carradine played. Okay, John Carradine in Billy the Kid vs. Dracula. Did he play Dracula? Because I know he did in the Universal movies, but did he actually play Dracula, or did he play Billy the Kid? That's funny. Paul says, did Judas become a vampire after turning on Jesus? Not that I'm aware of. I didn't see anything about that happening. I don't think there's any mention of that occurring. I think he just died. The Angry Pennsylvanian. Hey peeps. Hey Angry Pennsylvanian. Hey, we got like 2 minutes left. 3 minutes left. Wow. Can you believe it? 2.5 minutes left. I'll give it 2. All right, folks. This show goes pretty quick, but I do want to mention this. For our viewers, like on Stream TV. If you're not aware of this, look, every Saturday night we do the Chiller Night Live pre-show, and that's on this channel here. Whether you're watching it on the YouTube channel or Facebook's Chiller Night Theater, check it out. So every Saturday, it's weekly. Every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's online, and it's a pre-show. It goes from 8 until 9, so it's an hour show, which is what makes it so difficult for me to stay within 30 minutes on doing a Chiller Chat. But maybe I'll make the show longer down the road. But yeah, there's Chiller Night Live, and we're going to be having more. Actually, I think as of next month, I'll be having more Chiller Chats actually filmed in the studio, and we'll still be doing this as well. In fact, on the 16th of this month, we'll be having the Pittsburgh Paranormal Society as a guest on here, and of course, check out Chiller Night Theater and Stream TV at 9 p.m. every Saturday night. So where are we at? 8:29. All right, folks. It is time to wrap this up. Kevin says there was a 2-part miniseries titled Count Dracula from the BBC in the UK. Oh, okay. Well, this one here on Netflix was actually from BBC as well. Maybe that's one of them. The Angry Pennsylvania. Oh, real fast. Topic for an upcoming pre-show. Favorite Sith Lords. Oh, that would be a good one. I like it. All right. All right. Maybe this Saturday night we can hit on that. Jason says, excellent show tonight. Always fun. Thank you. Thank you very much, Jason. The Angry Pennsylvania. I got dibs on Darth Nihilus. Nihilus. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but all right. Bring them up. Bring them up on Saturday night. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. It was a fun show talking about Dracula. All right, guys. Guys and gals and ghouls. Have a good night. Have a good chiller night. We'll see you next week.
many times do I have to tell you, just because something isn't good doesn't mean it's bad?
Oh, jeez.